Imagine you spent all night writing an essay. You're tired and exhausted, but you're proud of the work that you've done. You have strong sources, you double checked your facts and your spellings, and you even had a friend proofread it. You're about to turn it in, you're feeling confident, but then you wake up the next morning and you have an F. How is that possible? Well, it turns out your teacher ran your essay through an AI detection service, and it was flagged for most likely AI. One, you know you wrote it yourself, but it's hard to prove that. And without the proof, you have a bad grade, hours of wasted effort, and you're labeled as a cheater by your teacher. Situations like this are exactly why I believe that AI detection services should be banned in college, because they're doing more damage to honest students than good. A lot of people assume that these detection services are scientific or reliable, but many don't realize how flawed they actually are. According to an article from Insider Higher Ed in 2024, up to 20 to 30% of AI detection services have false positivity rates, meaning they incorrectly mark human writing as AI generated. And that's not a tiny mistake. And that's 1 in every 3 students being marked for something that they didn't do and facing the consequences. Another issue is that the detectors don't even agree with each other. You can take one paragraph and submit it through 3 different detection services and get 3 different answers. If these were truly accurate, they'd at least all be the same. But they aren't. Even Turton, one of the most well-known companies in plagiarism and AI detection, openly admits on its website that their AI detection services aren't always accurate, and that they shouldn't be the main line of defense against cheating in colleges and high schools. However, many teachers ignore these examples and rule it as fact when they see an AI flagging. The software is unfair, and especially to certain students. AI detectors don't treat all writing equally. Studies from Stanford University and other institutions found that AI detectors are more likely to flag students written by international students, especially those whose first language isn't English. But why does that happen? Well, those students tend to write in a simpler manner, and they skip a lot of the jumbled up mannerisms that English speaking have. They're more straightforward, and that's the exact writing style that AI detection services look for when they go to flag. So instead of protecting academic integrity, the softwares end up punishing students for the way that they learned English, their cultural background, and their natural writing style. This creates a quiet but very real discrimination. Students start to feel like their voices don't belong in the classroom. They might avoid expressing themselves in the fear that they might be too simple, will get them flagged, and it'll be a tool against them. But the harm goes deeper than unfair scores. It damages trust. When teachers rely heavily on these tools, students start to feel like they're always being monitored or suspected. Instead of assuming that they're trying their best, the software encourages the teachers to assume that they're cheating and doing as simple work as possible. And this creates an untrustworthy environment in the classroom. Students become nervous to, I know it did. Students become nervous to ask for help, improve their writing, or take creative risks. Some students even purposely write at a lower level just to avoid getting flagged, which is the opposite of what education is supposed to encourage. From the teacher's perspective, AI detection services may encourage them to have less of a relationship with their students' writing. They might not really be aware of what the student's capable of because they just slam it into an AI detection services and let them make the judging for them. And honest students end up paying the price. This is one of the worst case scenarios, but false accusations are just inconvenient, and they can end up being life-changing. A false AI flag can lead to academic probation, a misconduct report, a failing grade, or even being removed from a class entirely. The hardest part is that it's almost impossible to prove that you didn't use AI. You can't just prove that your thoughts. You can't take a screenshot of the brain when you were writing. When honest students get punished, they lose confidence, and they might start even simplifying their own work just so that they can pass a flagging, which is the exact opposite of what education should do. But there are better ways to prevent cheating, and cheating existed long before AI. And the way we stopped plagiarism wasn't through fancy software, it was through good teaching practices and teachers who actually knew their students' writing. The more fair strategies are things like having short answer responses in class, using writing checkpoints, asking students to reflect on their own writing, and comparing a student's current writing to their previous work to see any dramatic changes. These methods not only prevent cheating, but they also help students grow. And most importantly, these strategies do not punish innocent students. Students rarely cheat because they want to. They cheat because of unfair deadlines, stress, and other factors that could be improved by better teaching strategies. In conclusion, I believe that using AI to cheat is wrong, and I fully support real learning and honest work. But AI detection services is not the solution. In fact, it creates more problems than it solves. Punishing honest students, it unfairly targets certain writers, and it damages the trust that's so important in the classroom. And worst of all, it's simply not accurate enough to justify the risks of using it. If we want to protect the academic integrity, we should rely on methods that actually work. Reading students' writings, using drafts, requiring explanation of ideas, and building strong relationships between teachers and students to discourage cheating. By focusing on real teaching rather than unreliable software, we can catch the students who cheat while allowing the honest students to continue learning, growing, and thriving like they always have.